After the success of the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Universal had proven itself to be a true competitor to Disney. With the land's intricate theming, fantastic dark ride, and interactive elements, the Wizarding World pushed the theme park industry into the future and has led to the creation of some of the best themed areas of all time. While Disney would respond with lands like Star Wars Galaxy's Edge and Pandora the World of Avatar in the late 2010s, Universal was about to land another household name that would usher in the next generation of Universal Studios. Welcome back to another episode of Theme Park Lore, where today we'll be breaking down the history and lore of Universal Studios' groundbreaking AR dark ride, Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge. While Nintendo has been a household name since the release of the arcade game Donkey Kong in 1981 and the Nintendo Entertainment System in 1985, the company's success has fluctuated heavily over the years. As a trailblazer in the video game industry, Nintendo has created and published some of the most recognizable and iconic characters of all time, from Mario to Link to Pokemon, and while many people instantly think of Nintendo games when they think of gaming as a whole, in 2015 the company was in one of its biggest downswings of all time. Coming off of a console generation of two of the biggest releases ever with the Wii and the DS, Nintendo had succeeded in not only revolutionizing the industry, but converting thousands of people who would have never considered buying a video game into paying customers. At a time when adult games like Grand Theft Auto, Call of Duty, and Halo were the most popular franchises in the world, Nintendo had been wholly focused on the family market. Having launched in 2006, the Wii was nearing the end of its life cycle, and with the next generation of consoles gearing up to launch in 2013 with the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, Nintendo would attempt to revolutionize gaming once again with their new console, the Wii U, bringing the company into the future with HD graphics and the gamepad, a tablet controller that could be used as a second screen. Nintendo hoped to build off the success of the Wii in the 2010s with another home run. However, with poor functionality, a lack of third-party support, and consumer confusion about what the Wii U actually was, the Wii U became one of the biggest commercial flops in the video game industry and led to a period of economic downturn for the company. With stock plunging by 18%, Sony and Microsoft gaining larger market share, and the death of longtime president Satoru Iwata, Nintendo began a period of licensing experimentation to help diversify its revenue. At the same time, Universal Studios was in the process of redefining themselves. Having gone through a period of stagnation after 1999's launch of Islands of Adventure, Universal Parks were in desperate need of a killer attraction to put them in the conversation with Disney. While their parks had a great catalog of rides, much of the IP attractions were based on had fallen out of popularity since their release. Looking for a home run and willing to invest millions where competitors wouldn't, Universal would beat out Disney in licensing negotiations and enter an agreement to bring Harry Potter characters to their parks in 2007. The move, which would cost an estimated $265 million, would not only revitalize Universal Studios and set up the next era in theme parks, but prove what the company is capable of. The area's intricate details, faithful adaptation of its source material, and brilliant dark ride caused Hogsmeade to not only see immediate success, but also completely revolutionize the theme park industry. The Wizarding World of Harry Potter would mark a turning point towards highly themed areas that competitors couldn't ignore, and Disney responded in the following years with Star Wars Galaxy's Edge and Pandora the World of Avatar. While both areas are incredible in their own right and show Disney Imagineering at peak form, Hogsmeade would just be the beginning for Universal. Nintendo, having spent years reserving their characters for delivery systems they own, was finally in the process of lending them out to others. First, after vowing to never explore mobile gaming, Nintendo would enter an agreement with mobile game company DNA to create phone games like Miitomo, Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, and Mario Tour alongside Niantic's incredibly lucrative Pokemon Go. While many of their mobile ventures wouldn't pan out, with apps like Miitomo and Dr. Mario World being quickly shuttered, Nintendo's next licensing deal would turn out to be one of their greatest. Having just proven their ability to work with notoriously overbearing IP owners and faithfully bringing source material into the real world, Universal would land its second biggest licensing deal in 2015 to develop Super Nintendo World. Planned to be installed first at Universal Studios Japan in time for the 2020 Summer Olympics, the area was announced to be in similar scale to Osaka's Harry Potter area with an alleged budget of 40 billion yen or $351 million. While we now know the area to feature characters from the Mario franchise of games, at the time little was known about what franchises would be represented at the park. Announcing in 2016 that the land would launch in Japan as well as both American Universal Parks, groundbreaking for Japan's Super Nintendo World would begin in June 2017, while Universal Studios Hollywood's area would begin construction in early 2019. While both areas are fairly large, with Japan and Hollywood's land being 76,000 and 65,000 square feet respectively, Universal was able to build the areas without demolishing any attractions, instead closing or moving event space and sound stages. While Super Nintendo World had a soft opening in Japan on December 26, 2020, the official launch was delayed until March 18, 2021 due to new waves of COVID-19, with all of Universal Studios Japan later closing from April 15th to June 7, 2021 due to Japan's pandemic response. The launch of the area was rocky but was met with widespread acclaim. Later launching at Universal Studios Hollywood on February 17, 2023, the first American installation of the land featured a more stripped-back take containing major highlights of the area but lacking attractions like the slow Omnimover ride Yoshi's Adventure and select interactive minigames. Walking through a giant warp pipe, guests enter a recreation of Princess Peach's castle with moving paintings referencing Super Mario 64. After exiting the castle, attendees enter the main hub of Super Nintendo World. Like Universal's Harry Potter installations, Super Nintendo World features several elements that guests can interact with purchasable power-up bands. Utilizing the same RFID technology as Nintendo's Toy to Life brand Amiibo, guests can sync their bands to the Universal app where they can collect stamps by interacting with animatronics and playing games, daily leaderboards for activities in the area, and record their score on the Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge attraction. As guests pass several animatronic minigames, they encounter one of the largest structures in Super Nintendo World, Bowser's Castle. Walking through another warp pipe under the castle, guests enter the first queue room themed to Yoshi's Island, a nod to the Yoshi's Adventure ride in Japan's Super Nintendo World. Entering the next room, guests enter a cave area where blacklight is used to create a fluorescent effect on the gems and mushrooms that border the room switchbacks. Then, making their way up a set of stairs, guests re-enter the pink Yoshi room where they pass a large egg. Additionally, Yoshi can be spotted walking around through screens on the wall. Going through the next warp pipe, guests are transported into the next area, the entrance to Bowser's Castle. Taking guests outside and providing a great view of Super Nintendo World and of Mount Beanpole, riders pass through the entrance of the castle themed to a large Bowser head. While much of the attraction is cloned from Japan's version, the Yoshi segment of the queue is exclusive to Hollywood, with guests in Japan instead beginning the line at the castle. Passing by a large Bowser statue photo op, guests begin to walk through the castle's halls and encounter recreations of Mario Kart's various cup trophies before seeing the trophy for the Universal Cup. The race, guests will challenge Bowser in on the ride. Making their way into the workshop, various schematics are on the wall detailing Bowser's artillery. Several holographic scenes are also used to provide depth to the fireballs and boos on the walls. Along the switchbacks, dozens of life-size props surround guests with Easter eggs and references to the games, the book collection, Bowser's Throne, a planet from Mario Galaxy, and a cardboard recreation of the ride in the style of Paper Mario and Mario 3D World. Making their way behind the Bowser statue, guests enter the next room, which features an assembly line making Mecha Koopas and Bob-ombs. While life-size props are featured in the middle of the room, more holographic screens are used along the sides showing the enemies being created. After exiting the assembly line, guests walk through a hallway and enter a large room for the attraction's pre-show. With props of the team's racing helmets and suits in their respective lockers around the room, a cast member explains that a cue video will tell riders the attraction's mechanics and story to get guests ready to race. Hosted by Lakitu, the video shows the members of Team Mario and Team Bowser before telling guests how to lower the lap bar and connect their AR headset. After showing guests that power-up bands can be tapped to the steering wheel to sync your progress to the Universal app, the controls for steering and attacking are displayed before guests are led into the next room where they can pick up their Mario visor. Strapping on the headset, guests make their way down a set of stairs before entering the loading dock. Boarding the cart in groups of 4, riders lower their lap bar and can tap the power band after connecting the magnetic AR lens to the visor. Collaborating with companies like J-Con and Mira, the one-of-a-kind AR headset and visor tethers to the ride vehicle where the onboard computer can communicate with the ride's screens, projectors, and animatronics. With the clear headset snapping onto the visor, AR characters are able to accurately display by tracking head movements in conjunction with the attraction's moving elements. With a ride card developed by MTS Systems and previously used in attractions like The Cat in the Hat and Men in Black: Alien Attack, the ride car is able to spin on top of the vehicle's base, which moves along a set track. Moving through the castle's corridor, guests are reminded of the controls before lining up for the race. With a combination of projection mapping and screen technology, the mix of physical sets and AR characters leads to one of the most advanced dark rides ever made. While the attraction does move slowly for a ride based on a racing game, the combination of effects feels right in person. Spinning out around corners, guests encounter a chain chomp animatronic before entering a room with large pipes and a thwomp animatronic that syncs to riders' head movements. Turning the corner through a warp pipe, guests pass through a question mark block and are given more shells to shoot at Team Bowser. Encountering physical piranha plant animatronics, digital fireballs are shot at riders, causing them to spin out. Entering a water area, AR Cheep Cheeps are passed before encountering a large eel on a physical screen and being sprayed by a blooper. Following Mario, the cart then makes its way into the Twisted Mansion course from Mario Kart 8. Passing by Boo's, a screen showing the moving carpets down the hall seamlessly blends into the scene and gives depth to the room. Next, 3 Magic Koopas shoot spells at guests, causing them to spin out. Passing by moving paintings on the wall referencing Super Mario 64, guests enter a large one that transports them to the Cloud Top Cruise course. With a combination of physical sets, characters on screens with AR mapped to them, and wind effects being blown at riders, guests then encounter a projection-mapped Bowser boss that they have to attack with shells. After defeating the boss, guests earn a superstar and make their way onto Mario Kart 64's Rainbow Road. With a combination of floor projections, screen walls, stars, and AR fireworks, the final stretch of the ride truly transports riders into the most iconic course in Mario Kart. After parasailing to the finish line, the winner is decided, with Team Mario winning if guests score over 100 points. After showing players' scores and the highest score of the day, guests exit their cart where they make their way through stairwells and return their visors before exiting the castle through the gift shop. Launching on March 18th, 2021 at Universal Studios Japan and on February 17th, 2023 at Universal Studios Hollywood, Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge was met with mixed reviews from fans and critics. While the attraction is undoubtedly one of the most advanced dark rides ever made with its intricate theming, fun gameplay, and AR technology, the ride's slow pace was a letdown for many. While I have personally ridden the attraction myself and think the pace complements the gameplay and the amount of effects happening all at once, I do agree that the ride is extremely slow for it to be based on such fast-paced IP. However, while the attraction is a letdown for some, the upcoming edition of the Donkey Kong Minecart Madness coaster may cause people to reevaluate the ride. Similarly to the launch of Galaxy's Edge being only supported by the game-centric Smuggler's Run in preparation for the land's e-ticket Rise of the Resistance, Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge may be better suited when paired with a fast-paced thrill ride next door. While Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge isn't a perfect attraction, Super Nintendo World has proved that Universal Creative can recreate the magic of the Wizarding World of Harry Potter while exploring new IP. And with the launch of Epic Universe in 2025, Orlando's installment of Super Nintendo World with the added bonus of America's first installation of the Donkey Kong Country area will be the biggest Nintendo footprint at a Universal park. The ride succeeds at transporting guests into the world of Mario Kart, and with an incredible queue, great gameplay, and technological risks, it's a solid attraction for one of the best areas ever built in a theme park. Let me know down in the comments what you think of Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge, and thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing if you'd like to stick around for more theme park lore, and I'll see you in the next video.